Glad to see you're doing well, given everything you're going through. We're gonna get to that in a bit, but
All right.
I gotta say, I just want to say to you myself, for as a patient, I commend everything you've done. You truly are a saint among saints.
Yeah, I want to
I
thank
don't
you
know about all that. I just do what I can do.
And that's the attitude of a saint, my friend, and I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just went live. Just hold on a second. Let me start the theme song, and we'll get going.
All right.
Put some echo
Yeah,
on.
do that very well, Boots. At least that's what I heard on Wall. Black Sabbath. Yeah.
Hold on. Here we go. And we're off. Nathan.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
I'm back on the scene. It's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. For what people stay, they sway. For today is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises over the top. Don't cross the line, but you know it's mine. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's go. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's go.
Bill Spader from 105.5 is running for governor. His last day is sometime in January.
All right. Nathan, how are you, man?
Let me hang up this phone. People always want to call when I don't want to call.
Nathan, welcome. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing just fine, sir. Just fine.
I heard a little bit about your story. Can you just explain what happened to you? I mean, you're basically a caregiver down in Georgia. I guess you're down in Georgia, and you were helping out sick people. And
Well, I say it like this. I did a lot of research on cannabis, not only on how to grow it properly, but also the history of it. And after I did all that research, I found out that our government been lying to us.
Oh yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
The very THC that they have made a monster out of, they've already documented that it can damn near cure every illness and disease known to man if you got it in a strong enough dosage.
That's right.
They know it. So what I decided to do was, I was like, well, shit. I ain't no hero. I ain't gonna trot out here to the Georgia General Assembly and tell them what I know. Hell, I'm finna heal myself because I'm tired of big pharma's dope. So first thing I had to do, since I done did all this research, I gotta research where to get my seeds from. You gotta get quality seed sources. Unfortunately, I had to get mine from overseas. Some of the strongest strains that come from America, you have to go all the way overseas to get them, because if they ship them to you directly here, it's interstate trafficking. So I got strains like Bruce Banner #3, Bruce Banner 2.0 back cross, Bruce Banner, what was it? Louis the 13th. They done crossed it up. I had that. I had some Ghost Train Haze #1. I had some Kosher Kush. When I'm telling you, I got the stuff. I had the stuff. I had Tangerine Dream.
Tangerine
Oh
Dream.
yeah, Gorilla Glue #4, which ain't nothing but green crack crossed with Tim Dog #1. That's all it is. But
Really?
I got some of that Ghost Train #4. I had everything from Northern Lights to New York City Diesel. I was getting the seeds, and then I was crossbreeding the seeds to make my own strains, and it was working. And you want to know how I know it was working? Because I was still going to the VA hospital, and the VA was still doing lab on me. They were telling me, Mr. Johnson, all your conditions look great. I was like, they do? They like, yeah, they do, because I stopped using they dope 3 years prior. I was like, okay, y'all cool with it. But then something happened with me. You know, I ain't a real religious man. And most would say I had leaned most of my life toward atheism. You see, I'm a man of science. 2 + 2 = 4. I don't need all that talking snake and all that other crap. I don't need that in my life. I need something I can touch. I can calculate. You see?
Yes.
So what I did was one day I had grown my strains and done got my rooms all geared up. I had 1 bedroom set up for growth, 1 bedroom set up for bloom. Had my LED light, because them HID, high intensity discharge lights, they might be cheap to buy up front, but they'll cost your ass in the long run, boy.
Amen.
That high power sodium light and that doggone metal halide will kill your bill. I'm going to tell you. So I eventually got blessed to where I could buy me some of them LED, high intensity LED lights.
You're going
Now that's,
hydroponic.
yeah, I'm growing hydroponic. Because see, I don't play that heavy
Now, may I
metal
ask,
board.
did you go hydroponic strictly for the growth size or any particular reason?
Well, I'm going to tell you. I grew hydroponically for several reasons. One, it grows faster hydroponically. 2, you can control what the plants are being fed. See, if you throw seeds out there in your yard, you might have good intents, but they might pick up heavy metals out there. You know, the government look for every excuse to mess with us. Every excuse. So why give them any excuse? So I knew I would pay more for my nutrients. You know, high quality nutrients for hydroponics gonna cost. It shouldn't, but it does. But it's worth it. And once I got my room zeroed in, where I had the conditions just right, had my light rails moving, my LED. My LEDs are only like 4 to 5 inches above the top of my plants. I ain't worried about them burning. I ain't worried about them getting scorched, turning white, my buds or nothing, because it don't stay there long enough. The light hit them leaves with just enough intensity for them to do photosynthesis, and then it moves. I'm not trying to do a commercial for light rails. I'm not trying to do a commercial for raw, NPK raw industries or for advanced nutrients. I love you, Big Mike, and I love you too, Harley. Yeah, I took classes from Harley Smith and learned just how to properly feed your plants what they need when they need it. These were some extremely, let me put it this way, I never could skip a day. In 3 years of growing, a little over 3 years of growing, I never could take a day off from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Hydroponics is a blessing, but it will curse you if you play with it.
No, yeah. Can I ask what your routine was? Wake up, start a day.
I wake up, first thing I do is start carrying my 5-gallon water buckets. Cause these girls was eating. And I had an occasional boy. I didn't discriminate against the boy, because you need boys to help breed the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, don't ever hate on your male. Even though when it's time to bloom, they may look like the best one of the bunch. You be like, oh, this girl gonna be a beauty. And turn out she got balls. Oh, but instead of getting mad, just take off all the balls you can. Make monster clones out of that boy. I didn't say just regular clones. I say make monster clones out of that boy. Put him in a box and then make monster clones out of all the females you got and put them in the box with it. And let him dust every last one of them. Then keep track of who the boy was and what females he sired the seeds from. You got to keep up with all this. You got to know what you plan on each harvest. But anyway, and if I get long-winded, just stop me, because I got so much in my head. I'm like that absent-minded professor. I start on one question and I go on and on. So it's up to you guys to keep me steered, man. But this what happened.
You're preaching the good cannabis word right now. Let me tell you, you're making this just so performative, and I really, really love it, because you have so much energy in you about this, and that's what I said about day one about working in this industry and interact with people in this industry, whether it be in the black market or in the actual like cannabis industry. Everyone's got awesome individual energy, and my friend, you've got just such a unique personality to you and a love for cannabis that
you love that plant.
Well, let me get back. I remember what you had asked me.
Go ahead.
So my first part of my routine would be to go fill up these 5-gallon water buckets and get ready to play a mule. Because I got to go and top off all these 5-gallon buckets, because I'm growing them deep water culture. I'm not doing the recirculatory deep water culture where you got a reservoir just pumping to everybody. That way you can be lazy. You can just go and fill up the reservoir. Nah, I want to make sure every plant get the same amount of nutrients and can eat at their own pace and not have to get a malnourished diet because some of his buddies want to eat faster than it do. So everybody got exactly what everybody starts with. And for that, I'm going to plug advanced nutrients. That pH perfect will save you a lot of time in the beginning, because it will help to keep that pH or potential hydrogen from shifting too much. Because every time these girls eat, they change the pH. Every time they take a nutrient out of that bucket and into their body, they change the pH. So you're
And
going to do
you know how much those things will drink during certain lighting periods.
Hell yeah. They can drink that 5-gallon bucket down to damn near nothing.
Yep.
So you have to fill it back up. So I fill them all up. The good thing is I live in a county called Hart County.
Yeah.
And I actually did EC check to see how much shit was in the water, right?
Okay.
Or some people call it a part per million check. That water come out the tap with 27 part per million. I was like, damn, this is better than reverse osmosis. 27 part per million coming out of the sink. So I didn't really have to worry too much about purifying the water. It was basically right. What little it had was like, maybe it's a little chlorine in it. But what a lot of folks don't know is your plant need chlorine. People that grow gardens on the outside, in the outside yard, they don't see chlorine as an ingredient in their nutrients. But that's because the manufacturer of the nutrients already know you're going to use your water hose outside. And they know your plant's going to get some chlorine regardless. So that little bit of 27 part per million, it didn't upset me at all. Now here goes the next part.
Yes.
This is the part. Sitting down in a chair, drawing some of the nutrient solution out of each bucket, one at a time, seeing what the level is now that I done filled them up, topped them up with fresh water. What is the pH? Now, I started out being one of these pH newbies, like a lot of folks do, where you buy your pH. Hell, I used to buy pH up and down from Advanced Nutrient. No offense, Big Mike, but I'm a researcher, and I found out a better, I ain't gonna say better, it probably was the same thing Big Mike was using, but I found a way to get it for cheaper, and it worked. Here you go. Any growers out there listening, if you want a good pH down, get phosphoric acid, 85% food grade. I'll say it again. If you want a great pH down that ain't gonna run out as soon as you get started good, because it only take a drop or two to change the pHs. Okay, you want phosphoric acid, 85% food grade. Now, for a pH up, you want potassium hydroxide. I used to get potassium hydroxide flakes. They were 93% food grade. You take and fill up half of one of those Big Mike Advanced Nutrient P-Up bottles that you get, them plastic bottles, you fill it up halfway with them flakes. And then you fill the rest up with water, put the top on. Well, you can leave the top off for a little while because the shit's finna get hot. It's finna get super hot. It's going through some changes. You put your finger in there, it'll eat the meat right off your bone. Don't play with it. Put on some gloves. Put on some eye protection when you make this pH up and when you fooling with pH down, because these things will burn you.
Yeah, raw chemicals you're dealing with there. I don't want to backtrack.
Right.
I want to ask you. I wanted to ask you though about your setup though. Did you, and not to backtrack too much, but with your setup, I know a lot of people with their hydroponics, you have to jiggery-po a lot of that stuff with the water flow, the piping and whatnot. Did you completely build your whole setup?
Yeah. Yeah. And some of the 5-gallon buckets that was in the back end where I couldn't hardly reach, I had bought me a plastic 10-foot tube over here at Lowe's, this hard plastic. I had put a little loop in it so that I could stick it up under the canopy, pop the lid up on the back plant just a little bit because I got a top on the top of the 5-gallon bucket holding up the babies. But I pop it just a little bit to slide that plastic hole down that 5-gallon bucket. Do a little suction action like you sucking gas from your car. When it comes up, catch some in a cup, stop it, do your pH check. Whatever the pH say need to be done, whether it need to be raised or lowered. After so long, you know exactly how many milliliters of hydrogen peroxide to bring it up, or phosphoric acid to take it down.
So
it ain't no more
use
guess.
a reader.
You get used to it after a while. You know exactly how many to make it raise to the exact level you want it. Now, I always shot for 6. I know everybody tell you cannabis grow better at 5.5. But if you shoot for 6, then during the night, when you ain't in there and they eating up shit, it's going to fall down to 5.5. Sometimes it'll fall down to 5 if you in bloom good after they eat all that potassium and eat all that phosphorus out of it. It'll be done fell down to 5. You be like, oh, okay, cool. We can raise it back up. That's another good thing about these pH ups and downs I'm telling you about. They food grade. When they decompose in the water, the phosphoric acid becomes phosphorus. The plant eats it up. The hydrogen peroxide, or the hydrogen, that's the later hydrogen peroxide. That's for sterilizing your nutrient solution and washing your buds later after you done harvest. I don't want to get that far here. But the potassium hydroxide flakes, when it breaks down into potassium. Potassium is the health element. The plant loves to eat potassium. It also breaks down into water and oxygen. Everything the root zone wants. So there ain't nothing going in here that ain't going to be used by this plant. And you can see it. You can just watch the plant literally growing in front of your face. Now, after I got through doing all the pH checks and stuff, and that's the bloom room, and then go to the grow room, oh boy, by then it's just about 7 a.m. in the morning. It's almost time for me to go back out of the room and put them in darkness. It's about time for me to go back. You know? So that would be my normal routine. It don't sound like it'll take that long, but when they arrested me, I had 37 plants. I had 10 in the bloom room, 27 in the grow room, and 2 of them in the grow room were boys that I had pushed back into the growth cycle. They were so beautiful, I didn't want to destroy them boys.
No.
Not them boys. I done destroyed other boys, but these was some bulls. I ain't destroying my bulls. Now y'all can kiss my butt. Now I ain't destroying
your sons. Can I ask you? Did you have at the end of the night routine? Did you play music for them? Did you talk to them or anything like that?
Hell no, I didn't play no music for them. Shit. I play music for myself. They might have heard some, but I put their ass back in the dark, and I always test my darkness by putting my hand in front of my face. No, I could not see my hand because I don't want to risk nobody harming because a little bit of light got in there. Nah, when I say it was dark, they was in the abyss, baby. Dark. Yeah. But no, I didn't play music for them and nothing. I thought I did well enough. I had all them air scrubbers in there, keeping the air straight. I had the winter portable air conditioner in there, freezing their ass up at night so they thought it was winter time. Yeah. I got these big ass tornado whirlwind fans just blowing the fuck out of their branches so they can stay strong. I grew them. My medium wasn't no cocoa coir. My medium I grew them in wasn't so much any of the stuff most folks use. I used those little, what they call them, ceramic rocks with food grade diatomaceous earth packed on top of it.
Okay.
This way, as the plant grows, it gets more than enough silica. They'll kill you at them places buying silica. Silica is needed, but you can go buy a big 10-pound bag of silica over Amazon.com for about $20. It's 84% anhydrous silica. The plants love it. It makes their stalk strong as hell. It makes their branches strong. And a lot of folks don't know this. The plant ain't stupid. It didn't know it got a weak branch. It ain't gonna put no big ass cola bud on it because it know it's gonna break itself. The plant is a self-survivalist. But you let that plant build something strong, oh baby, it'll grow a monster cola. Even then, you might sometimes have to use some yo-yos. I don't know if people know about yo-yos, but a yo-yo, you use it when you're using net. And I used to run Scrog. You didn't ask me what my setup was that way, but I did screen of green. So I have a net going all the way across the top of them, and then about a foot over, I have another net, and I will attach my yo-yos to that second net up high. And I would run the yo-yo. Huh?
Were the yo-yos were used to move the nets?
No, the yo-yo we use sometimes to help support branches.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes, even though the plant getting strong with that silica, it done decided they're gonna grow it a monster bud, and it need a little help to hold it up. This screen of green, I'm focusing on my all being at the same height.
I think,
and I'm telling you, when you grow, after I learned back in 2017 successfully how to produce monster clones, I have never made a regular clone in my life. And for those that's in the audience that don't know what a monster clone is, a monster clone is when you take clone from a blooming female. She's in bloom. She got flowers. You cut a branch with that flower on it, and you revert it back to growth. Now you say, well, why would you want to do that? That's harder than just doing a regular clone. You damn Skippy is harder, but the reward is greater. Next time you take that particular cousin to bloom, she's gonna produce about 100 damn arms of branches. They shooting out everywhere. Just branches, God damn. You try to keep up with the branches. Woo! So I used to be in there in the bloom room. This some of the things I did in the bloom room I didn't mention. I would have to tie off some of the branches to my net that's going across, you know. And I found out that anybody who use a wire tie on their baby is a masochist. Use a masochist. If you use a wire tie to tie your babies up, you might well be Marquis de Sade. Because see what's gonna happen is your branches on your baby is gonna grow, but that wire tie ain't gonna grow. So what it's gonna do is start cutting into your girl's branches. Now that's some sadistic shit. I'm just gonna tell you, it's easier. It's easier to buy a roll of that little thin, skinny, that stretch fabric that they use to put inside pants so that you can stretch the pants, and you can buy it from Amazon. It comes on a roll. It's only about a quarter-inch width. You pull off so much, you cut it. You can stretch it. You use that. You cut pieces and tie your branches off onto that scrawl. Now you ain't got to come back and worry if them branches grow, because as they grow, that was holding them grow with it. No sadistic, nothing, merciful. And they reward you for that too. They grow a whole lot of buds. Now the monster clone part, After a while, I started thinking that's the only way to clone. If you ain't cloning monsters, what are you doing? I mean, a clone plant is weaker than a natural seed plant from get-go. A natural plant got a tap root. Clones don't have no tap root, so they're already at a disadvantage. So you need to make your clones as strong and as powerful as you possibly can. And they will reward you with the kind of medicine that'll heal better than synthetic dope, better than synthetic THC, that tetrahydro, the benzobd-5-ran, they call them in the science patents. It helps better than any of that. And if you're wondering what I was suffering from, it was DVTs, deep vein thrombosis, that led to pulmonary emboli. Pulmonary emboli are the most dangerous thing you can have, and they one of the leading causes of death. That's where a blood clot moves up from your leg and makes its way into your lungs. I never knew I had them. I happened to go to the emergency room for something else, and my lady friend, she's an RN. She's been an RN for over 22 years. She's also a chef, which came out good when we were making cannabis butter edibles. But she told the folks at the emergency room they need to check my left leg. She swears she done seen blood clot. So you know how the medical profession is. The guy was like, yeah, well, she say she saw a blood clot. Wrote it in the record like that. And I'm humoring her to go check it. Went and checked, and damn, that was the blood clot. Then they had to do blood clot DVT protocol. Now they got to look at my lungs. And they found that I had a lot of them up there. But what I never understood at the time was they was very small. I didn't realize that the marijuana THC that I had been getting in my system since I was 13 years old. I started smoking cannabis in 1973. That's right. I was around when Schaefer and them gave their report. Yeah. I started then. I didn't realize that it was the metabolites being produced from Delta 8 and Delta 9 that had kept those blood clots small. But I'll let you talk because I need to go on and on. So you got to tell me.
Dude, it's like I said, it's been a pleasure. I was just about to say before, we're barely in the start of 2025. I think we got the MacGyver of the year right here for cannabis. Like, my God, what would you call that again? Monster what?
Monster cloning.
Monster cloning. I have to pass it on to my friend. You've shed so much light on. I have a little bit of experience with hydroponic growth. And you've shed so much light on just the little bit I knew or beyond that already. I found everything you're saying to be fascinating. The monster clones, the emphasis on, showing the boys seed some love, showing the guys some love. Don't always go for the females because that's where the females come from, But the perspectives you got really are really truly of someone who has been doing this for someone as long as you have. So my hat is off to you.
It ain't so long to do it. It's what you put into it when you're doing it. There are people who've been growing way longer than me that never once learn how to properly wash their buds before hanging them. They just take the damn plant, cut the damn branches off, hang them, trim them, and give it to your ass to smoke. They ain't giving me that shit. I don't want that shit. Cannabis is like any other vegetable or crop. You wash your other greens, why don't you wash it? But you got to know how to wash it.
I've never heard of washing your buds before. That's interesting.
So you've been smoking dirty ass buds. That's what you're telling me.
Apparently. So how do you go about washing flour?
Yeah.
Yeah, how would you wash buds?
All right. I use a four. No, I'm telling y'all all the tricks of my trade. But when you do research, you find these tricks from somebody else, so they're not originally my tricks. You use a 4-bucket system, which is easy. I put 4 buckets in the bathroom, 3 5-gallon buckets in the bathtub, 1 by the toilet. I fill it up with regular room temperature water. Don't you make that water too cold or you'll break them trichomes off like you making cold water hash or something. Don't make that water real cold. You want it lukewarm. Now, the first bucket, you're going to put some hydrogen peroxide in it. I ain't going to tell everybody how much. No, that's a trade. That's my thing. I had to figure out how much, but you're going to put some hydrogen peroxide, 35% food grade. Don't fuck with that little old brown bottle shit you get out of Walmart. That thing is 3%. It's so low on hydrogen peroxide, they have to put stabilizers in there so they don't lose the 3%. Them stabilizers are cancerous. Leave that shit alone. 35% hydrogen peroxide has no stabilizers. You getting pure H2O2. Now, why you want to put that in the first bucket? Well, when you done cut your branches, and here's another thing. I'm gonna give you another secret. Y'all gonna get a lot of secrets. We might even get to what my case is about. But look, here go another good tip. When you go into your bloom room to harvest, put a green light bulb or a green LED light up where your light bulb normally goes and harvest under a green light. Plants can't see green light waves. So to them, it's still pitch black. But you can see under a green light and you can cut your branches, untie all those little wraps I told you about. They come loose real easy. Hell, they done been stretched a little bit.
The light?
Huh?
Is it because they can't see the light that it's looser?
No, I'm talking, when I say looser, I'm talking about the ties we put around the branches to hold them to the scrub.
Ah, okay.
They looser because the branches got thicker. So they had to stretch some. And they got, little gaps in there now that you can easily pick with your fingers and it'll just come loose. This ain't no wide tie. This is something that will hold them in place, support them when they grow, easy to remove when it's time to harvest. Now, once you done cut the branch, you got to get them out of that room. I usually put green lights in the hallway leading to the bathroom because when I open that door, I don't want them to get no kind of red light to start their clock back up. I do not want their clock starting back up. So I get about 2 hands full of branches with big buds on it and run my ass over there to the bathroom. Now you submerge the whole branch all the way to the top of your hand in there. And you leave it submerged in this water that got hydrogen peroxide in it for X amount of time. I ain't going to be exact on the amount of time, but long enough for it to kill anything that might be on your plants. And whether you know it or not, hydrogen peroxide, it burns bacteria and unwanted fungi. It burns the hell out of them. It'll burn you if you get some 35% hydrogen peroxide on you. It ain't gonna just fizzle like that brown bottle. It will burn you. So after it's done been there for a while, you bring it up out of there. But no, you ain't ready. You ain't through with them yet. That's just first cycle. Now that first bucket is full of oxygen. The second bucket is going to be full of carbon dioxide. Now, how in the hell do you do that? Well, try something like some real lemon juice. I'm going to give you this one. Try something like real lemon juice as your acid and then get you some of that Arm and Hammer baking soda as your base. I ain't gonna tell you the exact amount, but you pour it into that 5-gallon bucket. And if you recall from elementary school, if you mix vinegar, which is an acid, just like citric acid, just like the real lemon citric acid, with hydrogen peroxide, you make that foam stuff that look like lava coming out of a volcano. It's producing carbon dioxide. Now your water is full of carbon dioxide. So now the branch that just been through an oxygen wash, then to get a carbon dioxide wash. Anything that survived the oxygen gonna get his ass kicked with this carbon dioxide. Oh my. And you hold it for X amount of time under the water line. Let it soak. Now, next step is you gotta rinse it. So once it comes up, it goes into a rinse bucket, which ain't nothing but your regular water at room temperature. When it come up out of that bucket, you're going to put it in another rinse bucket. You have to make sure you got everything off of it. And if you're like me, when you pull it up, you're going to pull out your little jeweler loop, and you're going to look at them buds shining. Oh, Lord, look at them trichomes shine, baby. Shine for the trichomes.
Sparkle.
That's exactly what they do. And that's what gives you the energy to go back and chop some more. Because you get tired cutting buds. And the only thing more tiresome than cutting buds down during harvest is when you got to trim the damn leaves off after it's done dry.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh,
You talking about work. It's fun for the newbie that ain't never did nothing, but when you got to actually do it and it's only you and maybe one other to help you, what looked like fun quickly becomes work.
Yep.
But when you hang it, you're good. You didn't ask me about my pesticides used. You didn't ask me about my fungicides used. I use only natural stuff.
Please tell us. I can only think of so much at one time to ask.
All right. Now, the main pest you're going to run into, and I don't care how clean, I had 6 air scrubbers. I had one that was a 10-inch inline fan with this big, huge ass filter in there. And then I had, and then I had the rest of these air scrubbers all through the house. You may have seen I smoke. My plants don't need to smoke. I don't want them to smoke. I had them all through the house, air scrubbers, just running.
You don't smoke around your plants?
Hell no. Why I want to give them a bad habit? This is my medicine. I treat it like it's medicine. I want to smoke, I go out the room and smoke. Just like I would do for any other non-smoker. If I had to smoke and they was around, I respect their rights not to take my secondhand smoke, and I walk out. Some folks don't see the need of it. I ain't putting them down. Hell, it's they plants, they medicine. They don't wash their shit anyway, so what do they care about what else get on it? You know, if you ain't washing it, everything's on it. But going back to pesticide,
yes.
No matter how clean you keep your air, you will not get away from the bug. Now, some folks say, who in the hell is the bug? Is he talking about Battleship Galactica or something? Battlestar Galactica? What are you talking about the bug? I'm talking about them spider mites, them little bastards. But after a while, you learn to love them. Now, what happens when they show up? If they trigger the plant, if you've been taking care of the nutrients your plant need, keeping it with some vitamin B1 and stuff as well, you've been taking care of this plant. When they show up, all they do is trigger the plant to go into defensive mode, and she started making all kinds of trichomes. She started making. Now, what do? You got the bug. How you gonna get rid of all these little motherfuckers? You go get predatory mites. What's the best
mites
thing to
with
run
mites.
down and huh?
Fight mites with mites.
That's it. And these mites are larger. They don't eat plant material. And they're not as sensitive to when you foliar feed your plants. All mites to some degree don't like water. They don't like water because they breathe out of their legs. Okay? Mites breathe out of their legs. So another reason of putting that stuff down in the water bucket there, you're drowning any surviving mite. Forget the oxygen, forget the carbon dioxide, you're drowning.
Wow.
Are you talking about ladybugs?
No,
Mite.
ladybug is a friend. But I ain't got time for a whole bunch of ladybugs flying all around my head every time I go in the blue room. I ain't got time for all that. All right.
You don't got that many wishes to make.
I just know I get my good fellas trying to give good guys a plug. I get my predatory mites. I first wet my leaves with a foliar spray, and then I drop them. They be in a mix, and the mix will stick to the leaves. And you have just introduced predators into your room. And not only will they kill and eat the living spider mite, they'll eat the eggs.
Now, where do you go about getting mites?
You get them from Amazon. At least I could back in the day. I ain't been hard, I ain't been growing in a while since the police want to be dicks in Georgia. But I assume you can still get them. They're being sold under the name Good Guys. They'll ship them to you overnight.
It's always the moments like this that I don't expect it, where I learn so much.
I
Oh, that's
know.
a lot.
Your legs.
I can't keep up. There's so many things I'm learning here.
I'm glad I'm
Yeah.
recording all of this. Like, this is
Yeah,
just
mites breathe through their legs. That's why they so afraid of when it rains.
whew.
So
Now,
Mites, even spider mites run from water.
are you all self-taught? Like, about your whole background?
My whole background comes from me putting in endless time researching the web, learning from other growers, reading. Reading is fundamental. That's why a lot of folks don't learn and they don't want to read. We live in a generation where people don't want to read nothing. If it's longer than 2 sentences, oh well, I ain't got time for it.
Yeah.
Knowledge is kept in books.
Yep.
If you don't read books, you don't get knowledge. You get hearsay. You get hearsay. Hearsay is dangerous. But I'll tell you this,
Information
we ain't got the fungicides yet. We ain't got the fungicides yet. I ain't never worried about no bud rot. Ever.
So now I understand the wash, because this is a great way to do it. You're washing off all the predatory mites. And
Any that might still be around.
Yeah. And what do you use for fungus?
Well, OMRI, the Organic Material Review Institute, certified it. It's called actinovate. Now, folks say, now what the hell is actinovate?
I am.
Actinovate is a fungi that you can add to your foliar feed, or you can put it directly into your water root zone, your rhizosphere if you want to. It's a fungus that set up shop and eat every bad fungus you can think of when it shows. It ain't even a fungus, it's a bacteria. Actinovate is a bacterium that eat fungus. So what you want to do, starting in the growth cycle, you want to foliar feed your plant and add some actinovate. It ain't cheap. The cheapest bag I ever got, I had to buy 18 ounces of it, and it was like $118.
Ooh.
But it only take a little bit to go into your foliar feed. And you put it on you wash your whole plant with your foliar feed. Guess what? You just injected this bacterium onto the leaves of your plants. Now this bacterium waits for opportunistic fungi to dare to sit his ass on your plant. And then it eats it. It kills botrytis, which is called bud rot, fusarium, root rot. Oh, it's a list of what it kills. It don't like them. And itself, the planet, the bacterium itself, even if you was to ingest it, it wouldn't hurt you. That's why it's UMRI certified for organic growers. You know, I get tired of hearing advocates cry when the government come up with some new lies on TV. I be trying to tell them, look, welcome them lies so you can bust their ass on them. When they start talking about, oh, marijuana smoker got higher levels of heavy metals. Well, now that they grow it hydroponically. Now what? Well, let's see, what's the other thing they say? Oh, people that smoke marijuana get emphysema. They right. I got emphysema. Can you tell? Do you hear me wheezing? Do you hear me railing?
No.
That's what cannabis has done for me, though, since 1973. It has protected my lungs. And I'm a chain smoker of nicotine tobacco.
So you know, yeah.
You know how it protects my lungs from the damage from smoking tobacco cigarettes? Okay, one thing the government won't tell you, but they don't tell you the other side of the story, like this guy Paul Harvey used to say, now for the other part of the story. They'll tell you in a heartbeat. THC depresses the immune system. It does. It really does. You got to understand, there are these things in our lungs and in other parts of our body called macrophages. They the first line of defense we have. They white blood cells. They are the ones that go out looking for invaders. They produce their own little carbon monoxide bubble. And they'll shoot it out. And if it hits something that's a natural life form having protein in it, this little carbon monoxide bubble will burn it. And the smell of that burn, that's the best way I can say it, the smell of that burn will come back to the macrophage and be caught by what is called an ATP receptor in the macrophage. Now it knows there's an invader in here. Now it knows to go and attack it with inflammatory protein called cytokines or kings or whatever people want to say it is. I don't pronunciate the king English that well, but it's spelled CYTOKINE, cytokines, right? It's inflammatory protein. Well, if it's an invader that the macrophages can handle themselves, they handle itself. And then when they shit it out, this other white protein called a B cell come by, categorize it, what it is, so that in the future, if it ever shows up again, they ready to put the alert out. And then finally, you got your killer T cell. That's when shit done hit the fan. Now, if the macrophage, which mean great eaters, macro mean great, phages eaters. Great eaters is where the name comes from. They all through your lung cavity. And they shooting out these little bitty balls of carbon monoxide. What do you think happened when I suck in a big ass gulp of damn carbon dioxide smoke?
You kill those.
I don't kill them. I confuse the hell out of them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like, invasion, alert of invasion. And as a result, they put out the signal to the killer T cell. Come on, buddies. We got a water fight. And these killer T cells show up in your lungs and they start shooting these cytokines, inflammatory proteins everywhere. Now it's called a cytokine storm. That's what the medical profession call it, a cytokine storm. It's just shooting shit everywhere. Now I want you to imagine this. Imagine you live in a brick house. Now imagine every now and then somebody drive by and shoot off a clip of machine gun rounds or bullets at your brick house. Now the bullets don't necessarily get through, but they start chipping away at your brick. The brick is your lung material. So when these cytokine storms start up, this inflammatory protein, hell, it ain't hitting bacteria and fungi and viruses, it's hitting your lungs too. Because it don't know from where the invader is coming from. So it's shooting it everywhere.
So are you saying that in a way that with cannabis depressing those, that it in a way regulates it better so they're not firing off when they don't need to, looking for things when they don't need to?
Exactly. So I can smoke my cannabis and then I can grab me one of these damn killer tobacco sticks. And when I go to smoke it, I ain't got no protection right now because the government got me where I can't use no THC or nothing. So I'm really back to square one, so to speak, in the sense that every puff of this make me just as vulnerable as Clark Kent near kryptonite because I ain't got no protection. But what it would do, it would protect. It would tell the macrophages, shut down, cut off. And you don't worry about that. It ain't got to just be about cigarette smoke. When it tell them to shut down, you got to understand THC is its own bacterial side, biologic side. THC can kill fungus and bacteria by itself. So in the absence of the macrophages, you're not left unprotected. The THC and stuff is still protecting your body. The government don't want to tell you. It's in these U.S. patents. I got them all the way from Roger Adams all the way up, the whole history of it. I filed 136 of these U.S. patents in my trial. DA didn't know what to do with that shit. He was like, oh, shit, what the fuck is this? Because he don't want to read either.
I think there are better. I think there are honestly other countries that you'd be better off filing those patents with than here.
I scared them so bad in court. They violated my Sixth Amendment constitutional right. I asked them for a public defender, and they told me I didn't qualify. They so afraid of what I'm going to produce in that court. Because, see, I also did a motion to challenge with constitutional question cannabis being on Georgia's Controlled Substances Act. By law and federal statute, I'm supposed to be able to challenge. I'm in a criminal case, and I'm challenging their law.
You are fighting such a noble and good fight, and the fact that you have such energy backing it really just makes me even more confident for you. I'm rooting for you, man. You are a mind within the cannabis industry that we need to protect, and someone that we need to keep close. We would all learn, I think I speak for all of us, a hell of a lot from you.
Well, I put as much as I can on the web for free. Anybody want to charge you, ask you for donations, run. They scammers.
Now, what's your website?
I got 3 of them. The one I'm building now is called The THE Ross ROSS Agency AGENCY LLC.com. And that's where a lot of the slides I had prepared to show in court, which they wouldn't let me show, I done made them in the videos. And I still got a lot more, but when I make them, I put them on there. I also got a website called Lab, LAB, RAT, RAT, Documents, documents, lab rat documents. That's where a lot of the documents I filed for court that pertain to cannabis is there, including those patents. And all you got to do is hit the download button and it will download directly to you, because knowledge shouldn't be hard to get. Huh?
I was saying that everyone, you got those websites, you got those links there. Go
And
check
then,
those out. I know I am going to be. I'm going to be going back in this video, watching it like crazy.
And then the last website is called Lab Rat, LABRAT, Cannabis Justice. It's where I put Lady Cannabis on trial to defend herself before a jury of 12. And she explained where all this madness first started. See, a lot of folk want to believe this stuff started with a William Randolph Hearst. No, it didn't. Or they want to say it was John D. Rockefeller because of petroleum medicine. No, it wasn't. Or they'll go and say it was Lamar DuPont because he had his need for some synthetic stocking material or something. No, it wasn't. That ain't where it started. It started in 1863 when President Abraham Lincoln commissioned Agricultural Commissioner Isaac Newton, not to be confused with the physicist Sir Isaac Newton. His name is the same, but he ain't the same person. Isaac Newton, to see if flax, FLAX, flax and hemp can substitute for cotton. In 1865, Newton presented the findings of their report. And their report said in 1865 that both could substitute for cotton, but the higher value crop is the hemp. And if we develop machinery like we did for the cotton, if we develop a gin machine for hemp like we did for cotton, then hemp can be our #1 export. Now, where were we getting hemp from during those years, even before the Civil War? You won't believe this, because people think hemp need a warm environment. It was coming from Russia. Russia was the world's #1 provider of exported hemp fiber. It wasn't the highest quality, but it was. And now think about this. You ever heard of the auto plant or Cannabis ruderalis?
No.
That little bitty ass plant that'll go from germination to bloom with no life cycle change. They have nicknamed it auto plants. When you hear people talking about, oh, I got an auto plant, meaning they ain't got to do jack shit. All they got to do is germinate it, keep it fed with some light. It ain't even got to have that much light, and it will grow. And then at a certain period in its life, it will switch over and start blooming on its own. These plants are native to cold regions. Alaska grew it. Oh yeah, Alaska, you'd have a lot of it. Because we got Alaska from Russia. It can do its whole life cycle in 3 months, corresponding to the fact that Alaska and them other places only got light for about 3 months. Continuous light for 3 months in Alaska and other parts that's cold. That's where the auto plant, the Cannabis ruderalis, that's where it thrives at. That's why it grows so fast and go into bloom without a light cycle change. Russia was the #1 producer. Italy had some of the finest. India had some too. In fact, Italy would get its fibers from Italy and then refine it and then sell it to the world at a higher price. But the first bad word or the use of marijuana came out in 1887. I'm gonna say that again. And in Cannabis Justice, Lady Cannabis gonna tell you that too. Because it talks to you. The whole thing talks to you on Lady Cannabis. The document don't all talk to you. But in Cannabis Justice, Lab Rat Cannabis Justice, Cannabis will talk to you. She's talking to the jury. She letting them know when they first brought out the word marijuana and used it in a negative way against her. And believe it or not, it wasn't coming from America. The bad mouth was coming from Mexico. Now you're going to say, why was it coming from Mexico? I'll tell you quickly. At the end of the Civil War, those rich Confederates say the hell with bowing down to a Yankee. They got on every steamship they could to get the hell out of here. And they went to all kinds of countries, as far as Japan, but a lot of them went to Mexico and started these enclaves, ENCLAVE. That's a country within a country. You want to get a great example is the Vatican. The Vatican is its own country, even though it's in the middle of Rome or Italy. But the Confederates ran to Mexico City with dreams of starting another new district with cotton being the primary crop. Now, why would they want to do that? Because cotton is native to Mexico. It comes from Mexico. It grows there naturally. So they got in there and they made a deal. Oh yeah, they made a deal. What was his name? Dang, don't it on the tip of my tongue. Well, anyway, I ain't gonna worry about it. He was representing France at the time. Was it Maximilian? They made a deal with the guy that was running Mexico. Mexico thought the South was gonna win the war. So they made a deal because they wanted to be big producers of cotton too. And they sold the Confederates a whole lot of land. But what the Confederates didn't know was they sold them a whole bunch of jungle land. You know, when we think of Mexico, we think about deserts and shit. No, Mexico got jungle. And they needed land that was going to be close to the sea because they wanted to export their cotton from Mexico. And unfortunately, the land they got, yeah, it was close to the sea, but somebody got to cut down all that jungle growth. So they told the poor white folk that was still up there in America, aren't you tired of being under the rule of the Yankees? We'll pay for you to come on down here to Mexico. You got a craft, you good at, you know how to chop down trees. Come on down here. We'll pay for you. Bring the whole family. And they suckered them down there and worked them like they was Hebrew slaves. They worked them so hard. The first chance them folks got, they got the hell out of Mexico and came back to the USA. No, y'all gonna kill us down here. But anyway, Mexico wanted to poison everything we thought about him. Because if the Yankees made a damn gin machine for him, this cotton ain't gonna be worth nothing. So they was the first one that started spreading the lies about marijuana making folks insane. They killing folks and shit. I got a lot of those articles, and they are also available at Cannabis Justice. The articles will talk to you. You don't have to read. You can just listen to them. Cannabis will present those newspaper articles from the Times Chronicle, and she will let you experience what they were saying about cannabis way before the 20th century ever hit. And it wasn't good, baby. They tried their best to make folk hate him. They called it marijuana. They said marijuana was a different kind of cannabis plant. It ain't exactly your Indian hemp. Then they had to say, yes, Indian hemp, but it is a Mexican version, and it is killing folks. And this is coming out of Mexico City because they want to protect their investment in Mexico. Later on, when the 20th century got here, others jumped on the bandwagon. You know, when you say John D. Rockefeller and his petroleum chemicals for medicine, yeah, that came later. He saw opportunity. Hell, it's already laid out. Look at what Elon Musk just did. He saw a way to get control by just partnering up with Trump.
Yeah.
He like, Trump already got the foundation. I'm just going to jump on and get a free ride. So John D. Rockefeller looked around and said, yeah, they already hating on marijuana, the cotton industry. I'll jump on that. And then you had William Randolph Hearst with his newspapers back when this stuff first started against marijuana. He didn't even have an empire. He only had the San Francisco Examiner that his dad had done gave to him. At most, he had 2 newspapers at that time. He was just getting started. But when he found out, like Rockefeller, well, you know, I might have an issue with him because they talking about hemp fiber or the cellulose can be used to make paper, messing with my interests. I think I'm gonna jump on there like Zuckerberg or whatever that dude that owns Facebook is. Elon Musk ain't the only one that jumped on the Trump train. So another one jumps on and he say,
oh, they're all jumping on left and right.
I'm against him too.
Yeah, amen, man, amen. And you already see them turning on each other like rabid dogs. Like it's
because they ain't there for the same purpose. The Trumpers are there for one thing, and them rich folks are there for something else, getting richer. That's what they want to do. They want to get rich. They ain't studying the means of getting there.
Yep.
They'll lie and say whatever you want to hear if you put your boy in office. But now he in office, they coming up with all kind of things. H-1B. We don't have to hire y'all. We can hire people from third world countries. What kind of shit is that? Well, that ain't what you ran
on each other too.
But that's what the big money said. Big money say, we want to make more money. We don't care about what you said. We don't care. So this thing about Lamar DuPont, oh, he came out with a synthetic fiber that hemp threatened. He just another billionaire that say, yeah, I got something to lose and something to gain if you say hemp is a killer. Call it marijuana, y'all. Don't call it hemp, call it marijuana. The scourge, the mothers are everywhere. Yeah, they just jumped on board. And when you got that much money pushing a campaign, I tell you what I researched. As soon as I got out of prison on parole, first thing I researched is what states are the top 10 cotton producing states in America? 9 of them was Confederate states, starting with Texas being the number 1 and Georgia, my bullshit ass state, being number 2. Everybody running out here just saying Big Pharma is holding him down. No, it's cotton. It's always been cotton.
When
they ain't letting hemp in here. We be saying, why these southern states don't want to let marijuana be legal?
Go ahead, Jim. What were you saying?
Oh, it seems like a good opportunity to find out because I never did know. When did the process of separating the hemp herd become effective to the point where it started threatening the sulfuric acid process of making paper that DuPont and the others seem
Okay. That started it was before 1937. That started around, I think it was about 1907. It was in the agriculture report. I got the whole document about hemp herds and stuff. I put it on the website so people can download the whole thing. But they had already had some machines they had built that was trying to work with hemp. They was not as good as the one that I'm trying to think. His name is something like Slepler or somebody. He made one that was real good. But they had already discovered that the cellulose being produced by those machines, even in the early it's not the early 1900s, it's the early 20th century. I got to remember years that start with 19 are part of the 20th century. Because if I say 19th century, we talking about years that's like 18 something. I ain't trying to go there.
Well, you got it right the first time. I mean,
Yeah.
about a few minutes ago, you snapped right on it. I had to actually think, okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they started then. They found out also that hemp, which grows super fast, because she eats everything. He eat everything in the ground.
Yeah.
That's why she get heavy metal. She eat everything. She don't give a hump. But if you ain't growing her for medicine, but if you just growing her for her stalks and her fibers, then it's a win-win. They said 1 acre of hemp produce the equivalent of 4 acres of pulpwood. And pulpwood take longer to grow. Hemp can do that every year. Every year. You don't need to keep killing these trees. The wildfire's doing enough of that right now. Just burning up acres after acres. We need trees. Hemp can be used as a replacement. They know it. That's why they don't want it here. These are southern states that have built their life on agriculture, namely King Cotton. When they were transferring me from Jackson Diagnostic and Classification Prison over to Lee State Prison, I had to go further down South Georgia. All I saw on both sides of the bus was snow white cotton fields. And I mean, we were driving for hours, and all I seen was white ass cotton fields. Every now and then, they was interrupted by a solar. You know how they have them solar panel farms?
Yep.
Every now and then, I see some of those, but it was basically cotton. We don't think that the South is still dependent on King Cotton, but it is. It owes those farmers a lot of. Let's say they owe those farmers. And what's in the best interest of them cotton farmers? You all get that hemp shit the hell out of here. Like it's always been. But we don't think it's the cotton folk. We done gave the cotton folks a pass. We keep blaming Big Pharma. Big Pharma this, Big Pharma that. You better look around.
To that point, would you say one of the following? Would you say that it's either that pharma fear mongers into cannabis as a result of the cotton, or is it a group effort?
Well, most of the medicine that they're making now, Big Pharma, are derivatives of THC. That's all they were doing through the 70s. All of them, from Eli Lilly to Abbott Laboratories, Merck, Pfizer, they all got patents on THC. But what you got to understand is this. Legally, you cannot patent anything of nature. So every version of THC they have patented had to be a slight bit different from what the last man patented. So now they got thousands of versions. And they're waiting for the chance to be able to pull them patents off the back shelf and shut everybody down. Folks talking about, I want to be able to make synthetic Delta-8 THC. Damn it, stand in line. They done made that shit long time ago. And they all got patents on it. Shit. For like this
what-
shit is new. They were doing this in the 70s, making this doggone Delta 8 from cannabidiol.
Lefty,
This
what
ain't
he called the other week? Caucasian bullshit. What?
I don't know the answer to that one. I don't know the political correct answer. I'm gonna leave that one alone with it.
No, we had a guy on the other week. He was
CBT.
talking about the background of CBD and the indoctrinate, how legalization came to be through the just basic well-connected rich white guys peddling some bullshit distillate.
Well, I'll tell you this. After studying all those patents, if somebody say, "Hey, Nay, if we face the government, should we say we need marijuana plant research, or should we go with synthetic research?" I tell them in a heartbeat, go to synthetic research. The synthetic research is safe. It don't have no real side effects. You want to know where them side effects come from? The so-called non-active ingredient they put in there. Dronabinol ain't nothing synthetic. Huh?
I never understood that term, non-active ingredient.
Yeah. Well, when dronabinol, which has a lot of uses medicinally, that's been proven by big pharma's own lab, state-of-the-art equipment. It's proven. But FDA and them want to always say there's something wrong with the synthetic. So we say, no, we don't want the research of synthetic THC to represent the plant. That's dumb as fuck. The reason they made the synthetics in the first place was because they came up, this phone. If I knew how to pull the battery out of it, I'd pull the battery out.
That's another thing they don't want you to do nowadays.
But look, the reason they started making the synthetic THC, Roger Adams did it a long time ago, but in the not even late 60s, by 1964, you had the United States Army experimenting with synthetic Delta 3 THC, also known as Delta 6-8-10-8. That was one of the THC that was made by chemist Roger Adams. Roger Adams thought that was the active ingredient. He did. He mistakenly thought Delta 3 or Delta 6-8-10-8 was the active ingredient in cannabis, but he was wrong. It's Delta 9. And one of the THCs he patented had a 1,2 dimethyl group at the 3 position. Now, when you put a dimethyl group in the 3 position, especially on a Delta 3, you make it 60, Roger Adams says 60 to 70 times stronger or more active than the natural THC. Well, the Army said when they did it with, when they made their own version of Delta 3 or Delta 6-8-10-8 and patented it, yes, I got the patent too. They said, well, we think it's 60 times to 512 times stronger than the natural plant. I looked at it, I said, okay, y'all say it's 60 to 512 times stronger. Okay, cool. Because see, what that says to me is this. When I read the first marijuana and health report sent to Congress and the president by the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, they said that the amount of marijuana THC in them days was between 1% and 5%. Okay, 1% and 5%. So if this stuff that they're going to test on these prisoners and these enlisted men is 60 times, I'm going to start with the 60 first, 60 times stronger than what's in the natural plant, then for us to have anything today that's equivalent to what the Army used on these soldiers and prison inmates, we'd have to have plants that produce bud at 60% THC. I ain't heard of no damn bud 60% THC. We can barely get in or out of the 30s.
Was the
Think about some
was that dronabinol, the synthetic? They were claiming it had 60 times more THC than the plant.
it was they were saying that the THC at that time the THC was called tetrahydro dibenzo BD5 That was the scientific name, so that we wouldn't, us lay folk wouldn't have no idea what it was. Okay, and they were saying that when they added that the methyl helper group, this ain't natural. Just like Delta 3 ain't natural. Delta 3 doesn't come from the plant. Delta 6, 8, 10, 8 don't come from the plant. This was a mistake made by chemist Roger Apple. And when he put that, he put a lot of different substances at the 3 position of this structure. And one of them was the 1,2, the methyl helper group. And when he added it, he found out it made it more, I like to say stronger, he say more active. 60 to 70 times is what the chemist said. But the Army said, in their research, which I also have a non-classified document that I also filed for my court case, I got their stuff, and it's saying that it's 60 to 512 times stronger than the natural plant, which would mean that we'd have to have some plant producing bud with 512% THC to be equivalent. I ain't seen a flower. We can't get 60. How we gonna get 512%?
It's impossible.
And that was me using one as a reference. What if I go to the high end where they say we got 5% in 1970 marijuana? Then we start having stuff like we got to have a plant with 300% THC in the bud. Or we got to have a plant that got 2,500 and
Where
some
do you draw
percent.
the line? Where do you draw the line?
You know, so I say in a heartbeat, let's claim that the synthetic plant or the synthetic THC that the government decided to make because it was more economical for them to make it than to extract it from the natural plant, but it was going to be a substitute. Let's run with it because I know what the results were. The results of all that high testing with this high amount of THC synthetic shit, nobody ever had one psychotic episode. Nobody ever had a symptom of schizophrenia. Nobody ever had a symptom of brain damage. Nobody ever had a symptom of addiction. The only thing it would produce, if you could get something that strong to take, is hypertension. Now you're going to say, what in the hell is hypertension? Low blood pressure. But it would only affect the person with low blood pressure when they tried to stand up. So
yeah, it's we found that to be true in I guess it was around 1992 or 3. My wife at the time had been prescribed dronabinol for multiple sclerosis.
okay.
Roxanne Laboratories was the producer of it, and it was like compared to the natural plant, it was way stronger, which really is disconcerting sometimes to a patient. Now, me being a good caregiver for my wife, I would always take a larger amount of whatever medicine she took so I could understand how it felt. And, you know, it was nothing like the experience with the plant, you know. And when we found out, basically, I could make her green butter, and that was really the best medicine right there. I mean, it wouldn't be a magic butter machine or nothing like that. It would be the double boiler, old time process, you know. And then her neurologist noticed how well that worked for loosening up, and then prescribed the this. Now in New Jersey, with the pharmaceutical assistance program for the aged and disabled, it costs $5 to get a prescription. That costs about $1,600 a month, something like that, give or take. Get it for $5 through that program. But the thing is, it was too too heavy for her. Basically what it worked to get rid of the tightness and spasticity left her a little more not taking part. Whereas the green butter, he's taking part from the get-go. So, simply enough, the same state that would pay for that, but not have anything to do with the real thing. There was people that liked it was a marinol, it was called then, it was glutaminol. They liked, but so they would trade bud that could be made into butter for the marinol that the state was paying for it, $25,000 a year to them. That was 73 times. 73 normal patients through that program could have their medicine, which wouldn't be that. These three would be covered in for the amount of that. But so it was just ironic that it all worked out.
What I'm trying to get to when I say we go with the synthetic, we have to defend the synthetic as well. Okay?
Yeah.
Because let me tell you what happened to Marinol. When that Marinol came out in 1985, that's when it originally was approved to come out in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they didn't give us, the people, just dronabinol synthetic delta 9 THC. Oh, no, that's too damn easy. We can't just give them the dronabinol. We have to put these non-active ingredients in here. Now, once they put the non-active ingredients, I'm going to tell you what they are in a minute. They start putting on the side of the marinol container called adverse reactions. Oh, shit. Now, of course, we logically want to blame the active ingredient, which is dronabinol, delta 9 THC. One of the adverse reactions were abdominal pain. Oh, don't say it. Don't say it called abdominal pain. And vomiting. Now, I say, wait a minute, hold the damn phone. THC is an antiemetic, meaning it keeps you from feeling nauseated. And it prevents vomiting. Now, how the hell is it causing vomiting? So I looked at the active ingredient. They had 3 active ingredients in it that were suspect. Iron oxide red, iron oxide black, and iron oxide yellow. So I looked it up because I don't like to assume anything. I don't want to assume I know something. I want to know I know something.
Amen.
I look up what iron oxide is, and it's another name for rust. R-U-S-T. And what are some of the side effects of rust within the first 30 minutes from 30 minutes to 6 hours? Abdominal pain, because it's causing gastrointestinal damage. They put it in there on purpose so that THC couldn't look like it had a good name. Shit, they did the same thing with Epidiolex. Hell, everybody knew CBD wasn't hurting no damn body. But then they started talking about severe side effects, dizziness, liver damage and shit. Then you look at the inactive ingredients, they ain't supposed to be doing nothing. They got 100% ethanol alcohol in this substance that's supposed to be inactive for a child 1 year of age and older. That's 200 proof ethanol, stronger than golden grain and Everclear. What the fuck is it doing in this? Couldn't y'all use some damn coconut oil or some shit? What the fuck is it doing in there? Oh, we're using the ethanol to dissolve the sucralose. Now, let me tell you something about sucralose. Sucralose is an artificial sugar made with chlorine atoms. When you mix alcohol and chlorine, you know what you get? No. Chloroform.
Oh.
Now, they got another ingredient in there they try to sneak by people. It's called strawberry flavoring. Strawberry flavoring, also known as the benzopyrazine, is one of the top endothelial cell death killers on the market. When they put that flavoring or that chemical, because that's what it is, a chemical that just happen to have a flavor like strawberry. When they put it on heart tissue, lung tissue, it started killing it within the first 30 minutes. Why are you putting this crap in there? And don't lie and say you're trying to make it what a kid will want to drink. You want to make bad examples. Right now, if they haven't done it already, they are about to get rid of Epidiolex off the market because they say it's too fucking dangerous. And that's CBD. We know the truth. But the government think we all dumb as fuck. And that's what gets to me. And that's why I, the lab rat, keep fighting them every chance I can. And they keep running. I'm supposed to be up for a new trial. I want my trial transcript, which is required, and then I can say, yeah, I want to do it on ground that you all denied me a public defender to represent me in court. You all want to railroad me so bad, you wouldn't even give me a public defender.
I'm not aware of your situation past a sound bite. Could you give it just an abbreviated version? So
okay, I'm gonna give you an abbreviated version.
Or as long as you want. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna tell them also, if you go to the Ross Agency LLC.com and look up the Lab Rat and Miss M story in the table of contents, it will talk to you. Not only will it tell you what I'm gonna tell you, it will show you the documented proof of everything I'm saying. When they first, on February 13th, I was just in my house chilling, waiting for 7 p.m. to go mess with them babies. That's right, 7 p.m. I go to work. My lady friend say, it's somebody outside the door. I'm like, who the hell outside the door? Don't nobody come to this house without calling first. About that time, I hear, police search warrant. God damn, what the fuck? Oh, if you want to talk about the last words I want to hear, I got plants growing. I got buds and jaws. I got teeth pucks, you know, the trichomes that fall off your buds when you trim them in your trim bin and you scrape it up and you put it inside your little plunger and you make your little pucks to it and put a little. I'm like, I know this ain't happening. Boom, boom, boom on my damn door. Police search warrant. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. Make a long story short, I'm not opening that damn door. And I'm going to tell you why I ain't opening that damn door. And I'm just going to keep it 100 with the audience. I'm black. I'm old. I'm in bad condition. And if I open that damn door, these guys believe at the least they're going to have to tackle me down to the ground to secure the premises. I ain't for that tackling shit. I ain't for that. I got Chinese walls right behind the door. If they knock me, I'm going to fall back on these Chinese walls and shit. Ain't no telling what's going to happen. And it's dark when you come in from outside into that door. They sort of think I got a gun or something and shoot the fuck out of me. So what me and my lady friend did, we went in the kitchen with the lights on, put our hands on the table where they can see we ain't got no weapons, and waited. They knocked the door in. They came in with guns drawn, pointed at my lady's face, my face. She was so shook up, she never did recover. She went into a panic attack.
I imagine.
Anyway, so they brought it's a trip because just like I'm talking to y'all about the benefits of cannabis, I talk to anybody. When I was in prison, I educated more prisoners about cannabis. I had everybody want to give me some marijuana. I had the doggone Crips, Blood, Guardian, Disciples, Muslims. Even had the Ghostface Killers offering me marijuana. I was like, no, man, I don't want that shit. And gonna say, why you didn't want it? Because that's snitches in prison. I'm trying to get to my parole. And I'm finna get there without any DRs. I'm not gonna piss dirt. I didn't even smoke cigarettes. That's how folks get in trouble. You start getting a vice in prison. Oh man, that'll kill you. I left all my vices when they arrested me. Tobacco and marijuana. Marijuana was the easiest one to give up. But tobacco went quick too, I guess. It's true. Cannabis is an anti-addiction drug. I didn't even feel the need for cigarettes anymore. And I didn't see no need to play with it. Ain't no reason to start now. So I went my whole time in prison without smoking tobacco, cigarettes, and without smoking weed. I ran a store. I was like a boss, ran a sugar store.
How long was that time served?
I had 20 months. And in bad condition, it feels like it's longer, but I met some good folks up there now. I know it don't sound crazy. I met good folk, black and white, up there now. I mean, we ain't got no kind of rehabilitation system. They can't get out of prison on parole unless they got a residence that's approved. Well, that means most of them gonna do their whole time. And then when they get out, ain't no system set up for them to get jobs so they can get them a place and be responsible citizens. So it's just a matter of time before they commit a crime and go back in. It ain't even like they got a chance in this shit. I got a chance. I still got my house. That was the thing I knew. I had a chance. My lady friend was paying my mortgage for me. I had a house to parole out to. But anyway, they tried to mess with me. They tried to, this so-called special agent, when he saw that the paramedics had came to see about my lady friend while the arrest was, while they was at my house. He came up to me and said, do you want to keep her from going to jail? Now, man, I want you to understand. I love this lady. I'm feeling like a heel because I'm the one groaning for my conditions and she's gonna go to jail. I be damned. So when I normally don't even talk to cops. But y'all ain't gonna do nothing but try to turn around anything I say. But on her behalf, I say, okay, they come on outside. Now I'm wondering this motherfucker want me to go outside. Why he can't talk to me inside? We go outside. He want me to sign this paper that say I waive my Miranda rights. Remember, my friend is in there and paramedics are trying to keep her alive. Fuck it, you want me to tell you something? I tell you this, all the plants in there belong to me. All the marijuana in there belong to me. But no, he don't want that. He want me to start talking about I'm selling it and shit. I told him I ain't sold no marijuana. I done gave it away to senior citizens though, who had a need. But I don't sell. Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I was like, I'm trying to not loot it because my lady friend is in there. Anyway, he started talking shit about, give me 3, you go free. I was like, this is a corrupt ass cop. And I left there and I like, this motherfucker too corrupt. I'm gone. So I started headed back to the house. But he had the other cops to take me to jail, right? I'm like, this motherfucker talking about give you 3. I ain't giving you the name of no old people. Are you fucking kidding me? Now I'm trying to I turn myself in and make myself go to hell, but I ain't sending my old lady and I ain't sending nobody else to no goddamn shit. That ain't honor. Ain't no honor in that shit. I get to jail. They booking me. I come from wiping my hands off and doing the fingerprint. And who do I see in that motherfucking office? My lady friend. Now I want you to understand something. I got the documents to prove it. It's all on the Ross Agency LLC.com. When you go to when you open up the little thing for table of contents, look for the lab rat and Miss M's story. The part I'm telling you about right now is in part 1. That's a part 2. That's why I take you through prison and how we screwed Georgia. How we made them tricked them into admitting that y'all denied me my right to counsel for trial to begin with. It's in there, step by step, every piece of paper. I don't even care if they see it. They can't change it. It's there. They know it too. That's why they stalling on my trial transcript. They hoping I die on this big pharma medication and they never gotta go to court. But I ain't dying that easy. But anyway, when I read the documents from the emergency medical folks, and I took and filed that too for my case. Everything was filed. At the very same time that this guy decided he wanted to take me outside and get this so-called Wade Miranda confession, the EMS had already documented that they came in at that time. They were called by the Hart County Sheriff Office and the GBI to come look at my lady friend, because that's how bad she was. With this asshole, when I got to court and I asked the judge to suppress this bullshit, say he didn't know she was in a medical condition. You didn't know. The Hart County Sheriff Office knew. The GBI knew. Everybody knew, but your special agent ass didn't know. Come on. You can railroad if ain't nobody here to see you do it. See, what keep them alive in the South with this bullshit, it ain't nobody in the courtroom. Ain't nobody there but them. So they can say and do whatever. They told me, let me tell you, even then they was afraid I was going to win in trial against them. Because I already told them. In Georgia statutes say to have a crime, you got to commit the act, and then you got to do one of these other two parts. You either got to have intent or you have to have criminal negligence. I didn't have criminal negligence on raising my plants. I raised them to perfection. And I didn't have criminal intent. I was not growing them to make money. I didn't have no money. I'm broke. I'm not like some folk. They come in there and they got $30,000, $50,000 and shit laying around. Ain't got no money, ain't got no firearms. So they can't put that on me either. What do you want? I'm an old man. She an old woman. I'll be 65 this year. This year she'll be 64. But yeah, I looked up and they were booking her in there before they even finished booking me. The paramedic say she was having a panic attack. She asked the paramedic, she said, could it be she just afraid? She explained how they came in with guns waving. This woman has never been arrested a day in her life. I ain't talking about arrested and not convicted. I'm saying she has never had a pair of handcuffs on in her life. They come in there with that Dick Tracy bullshit. Scared her so bad, she asked the paramedic, because the paramedic was going to take her to the emergency room. She said, do you think me being afraid is why my blood pressure, her blood pressure was 200 over 100. Her heartbeat was 113 times per minute. Those are stroke rates.
All right,
She
let's
asked
we don't want you to like relive and feel that bad on our
Well,
account. I gotta tell you,
it's
man.
all relived at the
Perfect.
Ross Agency LLC.com. You can see it. It will talk to you. You don't have to sit there and watch every page. It was designed to not only show you the proof, but let the proof talk to those who don't like to read.
Listen, I gotta say, this has been more than just an educational experience.
I was gonna say, yeah,
It's
an eye opener.
it's like a movie.
Really.
Only unfortunately it's real. And you know, I don't know how many conversations I've had with people that starts out your love of reading and learning and this whole story. And it's riveting. But you know, I have a story that pales in comparison to what I'm hearing here. Nonetheless, I have one that lets me know what it's like when you're feeling how you feel right now. So that's why I kind of wanted to jump in because I do understand. You know, I'm feeling a little bit of a shadow of what you're feeling. Little PTSD in my life, perhaps.
And like you said, Jim, like this started out for him as a love of reading, a love of educating. This wasn't, I'm going to build this empire, I'm going to start this business. It evolved into a charity, a good act of goodwill, and he was persecuted for it.
Oh, let me say this right quick. How I got into giving it away. Before I started giving it away, I ran my own garden in the backyard. I grew my own vegetables and fruits. I would go out there, dig a hole, and all my leaf material and stalks, I would bury them in the garden so that they could compost back down, and my garden flowers could use.
Full circle.
I used to do the same thing with the buds. I can't use all the buds. I can smoke only so many before a fresh supply harvest is up. So I have to get rid of that because I'm not going to keep buying these Mason ball canning jars. So I got to empty what's in there, sterilize the jars, put some new buds in there. And one day I was pouring those buds out, and I heard on TV, again, our lying-ass judges who talking about they going to help us to get a medical marijuana program is still making it hard for the people to get a medical cannabis. I say, Lord, and I told you, I ain't a big religious man now. The sun touched me, and it say, you just putting it in the ground. Give it away. Now, it's tricky giving it away. I started out giving it away to ladies on Craigslist. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you why I started with women folks. First, I asked my lady friend if she want to talk to some of the men folks on Craigslist to give them some weed. She's like, oh, no, I don't want to talk to them crazy. And then I said, okay, well, I guess I'll talk to some of the old ladies that smoke already. I ain't trying to convert nobody to smoking. It's just those who already smoke. And I would give them some of mine, tell them somebody else I knew was growing it, and I trimmed it up for them. And they give me some as a way of saying thank you. Because I'm on fixed income. You know, people ain't stupid.
Yeah.
After a while, they wonder how you got all this weed all the time and you can give it away because most folks don't have nothing as good as this. And they want to charge an arm and a leg for their crap. I just say, well, nobody knew about the others, so it ain't like they knew, oh, he giving to a lot of folks. They thought they were special. And to me, they all were special. All right. Then I moved from Craigslist after they closed that down. I tried some with this site called Plenty of Fish. Again, I asked my lady friend, you want to talk to the men folks on Plenty of Fish? Hell no. She said she wanted. So we take our weed to the lady folks. I guess you figured, well, you a man, you ought to be able to control a woman. You know, yeah, okay, probably better so than I could, depending on who came over to this house. And man, 'cause men are crazy.
Yeah.
They start thinking they own shit. So I started with some folks. But anyway, I'm just gonna stop there. But yeah, that's how I got started. I was out in the garden,
Okay.
getting rid of my
Nathan,
leaves and my stalks.
Well,
Nathan,
this is
I-
like the beginning of, I've got to go to, and I don't know how much Lefty was making sure he got the websites.
I've got it recorded, Jim. So if you need it, I got it.
I'm the low one on that totem pole. I kind of looking up like, yeah, they look like they're active, yeah, this is like a mystery or something, like something to investigate. Like how, it's fascinating. A lot of it's due to you have a real like a mix of street knowledge and pharmacology and certain things. It's like well beyond a lot of.
Went to school to be a dual degree engineer.
Yeah,
I went
it's
to
like
school to be an engineer.
Yeah, it's
How did you get busted? Did somebody rat on you? What happened?
Now that's a good question. For the longest, I didn't know, because it's a small town. I moved out here to die. I had blood clots and shit. The doctors already told me. In 2011, they had already told me, or told my lady friend to tell his folk to make arrangements for his funeral. He ain't gonna make it. Very few folk can survive multiple pulmonary embolies, and he got them coming all the time. So the hell with them. I finally left the city, so like a dog that leaves home because it don't want to die where it lives. I moved out of Atlanta and came up here to northeast Georgia. Bought a house. Just a simple house. Little land on it I can grow crops on, and I can die here in peace away from my loved ones. I can die the way the good Lord wants me to die. I'm a lot more religious now than I was then when I first started. But I came out here, and then when I went to court, I gotta tell you this, because this leads right into when I went to court. Who testified on me?
Yeah.
The first thing I asked them, or they told me, if I bring up anything from the U.S. Constitution or from the Constitution of Georgia, or try to challenge the search warrant in any way, the DA said it to the judge that he is going to ask for a mistrial and that I be held in contempt of court, and we go after his lady friend.
What? How can they do that?
It ain't nobody there. If a tree falls in the woods and ain't nobody there to hear it, does it make a sound? No. To have sound, you got to have a transmitter and a receiver. That's why you can sit in the room you're in now and not hear any of them radio waves and television waves that's all around you. But get a receiver, and now you got sound.
That's a hell of an
ain't nobody there but the court reporter, and that's what they scared of now. Because they got to figure out what to do with those transcript tapes. I've been waiting almost 2 years come March 20th for this damn transcript to be made. I kicked their ass on March 20th, 2023. I still had to stay in prison until February 28th, 2024. I'd already beat their ass. You violated my constitutional rights. But it don't exist in their world. But anyway, as far as the person. Now, one of the things I was going to bring up from the U.S. Constitution, I got a right to face my accuser.
That's what I was going to say. Yes, absolutely.
Where is my accuser? Ain't nobody here but that special agent that want me to sign away my rights. I might give him 3, he'll set me free shit. and another cop who ain't none, he done been resigning from police office over and over and over. That's in the lab rat in Miss M2. I did a Freedom of Information Act, got all I could on his disciplinary action. This boy has resigned from so many police departments only to get rehired again. And his specialty is he likes scaring women. So when I was there, eventually they showed a quick picture of they said it was a screenshot of what I sent to this lady. I won't say her name. And I looked at the picture and I realized, motherfuckers, y'all took my cell phone. Only had a 4-digit code. It didn't take y'all long to break my code. Hell, it's one of the many. It's the last 4 of my social. So y'all got access into my cell phone. And then you tried to cover your ass by finding something from Plenty of Fish. Because I told the fool that I meet folks from Plenty of Fish, you know, that already smoked. And he gonna act like it was his discovery. And when I saw what he used, I like, man, that's right out of my cell phone. Talking about this person contacted him. Now check this out. This person was allegedly interested in me from Plenty of Fish. Okay, this lady wants to get with me from Plenty of Fish. But she say, all I do is talk about cannabis, marijuana, flowers. And she not into that. Now, I don't know why she be calling me she ain't into that, because that's all that's on the goddamn thing is about marijuana. But you gonna call me and then get offended because he talks about marijuana. So instead of just blocking him from calling you or just don't answer his call, you decide you just happen to call Special Agent Skelton. I asked, how in the hell did you get your phone number? I don't know. Well, I can't cross-examine nobody because she ain't here. But remember, if I bring that up like I just said to you all, I'm finna be held in contempt of court. A mistrial, which is normally good for the defendant, is fitting to be declared. They're going to put me in jail for contempt of court. And while I'm sitting in jail, they're going to grab my girlfriend, my lady friend, because I don't have no girlfriend. We too old to say girlfriend. I got a woman friend. Now, they're going to grab her and drag her old ass in the court and try to give her 35 years. At first, they started out with 50 years, but they didn't even know the charges they were putting on me. So I beat 2 of the charges real quick. I let them know, you ain't gonna ever be able to prove to the jury that I had a Schedule 1 THC substance without any morphological features from the plant of the genus cannabis. Meaning, I either got synthetic THC or I got extracted THC, and I don't have the equipment to do both. Neither one of them in my house. Well, how the hell are you gonna handle that? And then I had to explain to him what morphological meant. It means it had to be either, if it's not in a gas, liquid, or solid form. My butter that's in my edibles was green with yellow. That's because I got green flavonoids out of the leaf material. I got terpenes in it. I got cannabinoids in it. I got the full Monty in there. So as far as there not being any morphological features from the plant of the genus cannabis present, bullshit. That was 30 years right there they had to drop. Just because I knew what the words meant. If I could have tried harder with the jury, but if I win, I lose. I had to tell the jury, and I'd be glad when that transcript come out. I had to tell the jury not to feel sorry for me. to do their duty, they sworn duty, only go with the evidence that was presented in this case. No sympathy for no 60-something-year-old man. Find me guilty or innocent by what the evidence say. I ain't presented no evidence. Out of 328 exhibits I filed, I presented nothing. And when they found me guilty, I asked the judge for permission to say a word to the jury. And he granted it. And I hope it's on that transcript. I thank them for doing their sworn duty. I'm a veteran. I used to be Special Forces Beachmaster. I know about honor. They did their duty. I was not mad. I wished all of them a blessed day and that they got home safely. Even though when I got the sentence in the DA, now he want to tell the judge, he want to bring me up on charges of impersonating a veteran. This son of a bitch got my medical records from the VA filed as Exhibit 1s and 2s. They got my driver's license and everything else, got veteran all over the damn driver's license and shit. He telling the judge he wants me brought up on charges of impersonating a veteran. I told the judge, I said, Judge, anybody here got a cell phone? Because I left my cell phone with my lady friend. Her public defender told her not to even come in the courtroom. They don't go in there. That DA, he's subject to call you to the stand. So don't go in there and he can't call you. But anyway, she had my phone. So I asked Judge if anybody in here got a cell phone. Call the VA hospital, the Atlanta branch, Claremont Road, and I will verify my identity over the phone with the phone on speakerphone that I'm a veteran. That when the judge shut the DA up and asked, does Mr. Johnson qualify for first offender? But Judge, I want him to do some prison time. The judge asked me again, do I qualify for first offender? And I probably would have took it. But then a force took over my tongue after I listened to this DA. I stood up to tell the judge, because the judge wasn't going to even take away my citizenship. Put me on probation for 20 years. That's a long ass time, 20 years. But I ain't going to take away your citizenship. You don't get in no trouble, you good. I say, Judge, I just want to say, now you know that I done told y'all I've been using hemp products, which are legal in Georgia, being sold all over Georgia. I've been smoking hemp flowers, and I've been using some of that Delta 8 synthetic THC they done made derived from cannabidiol. And it ain't much to make THC out of CBD. All you got to do is close the pyran ring. That's the only thing makes CBD and THC different. The pyran ring is open on CBD. You take away a hydrogen and you close the pyran ring on the CBD, and suddenly you got Delta 9 THC or Delta 8, depending on how you move the double bond. But anyway, I told the judge about it. Cause I'm listening to this fool. I said, Judge, you know I've been using them hemp flowers. Here go the DA. That's illegal in Georgia. And you know I've been using Delta 8 derived from CBD hemp flower. Here go the DA. That's illegal in Georgia. And I'm like, damn, this fool gonna make sure they violate my damn probation. And then I'm gonna have to serve 20 years. A force, I don't know what it was, grabbed my tongue and told the judge, yo, you might well just sentence me to, don't give me jail time. I don't know to this day. I have to say it was the Lord, because I damn sure ain't no hero. But I said, you might well gonna give me that jail time then. Judge said, okay. They sent me, he sentenced me to 10 years, do 5 years in prison. In Georgia, you only have to do a third. So 60 months is 5 years. So I only had to do 20 months.
Only.
That's if I don't get in no trouble while I'm in prison. So you can go into prison with a little bit of no time and never get out, surviving in prison, but it's a job in itself. You know, everything you do, you can be held accountable for. So now I'm out. I played the game. And now they just stalling on my trial transcript. I asked the judge in June of last year, they judge, why don't you just hold that court reporter in contempt of court? Because she obviously ain't following your court orders. Judge gonna try to defend her. Oh, oh, it ain't like that. Oh, she been busy and busy. Then I supposed to have a hearing in December. They rescheduled it to November. When November came, they told my conflict attorney that I had motion to get. Oh, I whipped their ass so bad. They now have to pay for me to have a conflict attorney. And they contacted my conflict attorney, and he told me, oh, they just contacted me the day, he was telling me he got contacted the day before I supposed to go to court for that hearing. They say, you don't even have to come. They don't have the transcript ready, so Mr. Johnson don't even need to show up. Y'all can stay home. But I went anyway. And something interesting happened while I was there. I was sitting with my lady friend in the back pew, and this old black man walked up to me. He one of the guys that check you when you come in and go through the metal detector and put the stuff in the plastic bucket. He said, I didn't recognize you at first. You that guy that represented himself, right? I just nodded my head. He said, they don't like people like you. You too intelligent to be black. They don't like you. And I just looked at him, and he went on about his business, and I just, no, I'm not going to lay down. If I got to go to prison to keep my old lady out of prison so I can come out and get my civil rights back, and at the same time destroy these cannabis laws of Georgia and maybe the whole United States, then it's worth it. Timothy Leary ain't the only one that can do a constitutional question.
You are such an honorable force within the cannabis community. I'm emotional right now. Like that is, as someone between all of us. I mean, between the veterans' voices, the home growth voices. I've been wrongfully imprisoned myself. We all can sympathize with you on some level, and between your innovative skills, your self-taughtedness, your vigor and valor through fighting through all of this and still being able to keep your head up to a point where you can keep saying, I'm going to keep fighting this. My hat's off to you, my friend. You are fighting beyond the good fight and keeping the relevant information alive in an age that is flooded with such toxic fake news and false information. I there are no words, honestly. I have so much gratitude and just value for what you do and what you've done.
And for you hydroponic growers out there, I know how to prevent sudden wilt. Sudden wilt
I go to his
syndrome.
website now.
If they growing hydroponically, they done had a time when they done had they females looking beautiful as hell, almost ready for harvest, and suddenly they was hit with sudden wilt syndrome. I know how to prevent it.
I don't doubt that.
I just leave it at that.
Yeah.
A little tease.
This is there's been one for the books here.
Absolutely.
I got a fun question for you.
All right.
What's your favorite munchie food?
Oh, okay. Let's brighten this up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. Anything I get in my mouth after I done been smoking. See, I don't be hungry when I'm high. until I put something in my mouth. Once something touch inside my mouth, some kind of alarm
Chain
clock.
effect.
So anything is my favorite munchie. My lady friend is a graduate of Le Cordon Bleu School of Culinary Arts.
Really?
She cooks all the time. I am eating all kind of delicacies all the time. So to ask me what is my favorite food, I mean, it's whatever she brings in, and I decide to open my mouth and eat.
Let me ask you this as a bud tender. What's your favorite strain?
Now I'm gonna tell you, my favorite strain. Lord, that's a tough. That's why I had so many, because I could pick a different one. I like Ghost Train Hayes #1. All right.
Love me
Big
some Ghost
shout
Train.
out. Big shout out to the growers of Ghost Train Hayes. But likewise, when I crossed it, I once crossed some Ghost Train Hayes with some Quirkle. I don't even know if they still got them seeds on the market no more.
Never heard of that.
It's called Quirkle. It was by what's this guy named TSO somebody. Anyway, Quirkle is spelled with a Q. It gave me, my old lady made some of them good old edibles, right? Some of
Right.
them fruity pebbles.
Yeah.
I swear to God, you ate one, you felt like you was on a roller coaster.
Woo.
What I mean is, you be high,
Yeah.
and then you be sober. And then you go high again, and back down, and then back up. We called it the Scream Machine, named it after the roller coaster in Georgia.
I love that.
Scream Machine. It was a very special combination. I mean, but you get, oh, I just said what it does. I ain't gonna say it again. That's being repetitive and redundant. So I'll stop.
But Lefty, how if we're doing, I don't know how we're doing on time, but I would want to ask you if you had a message out there for everyone, you know, who's continuing to seek cannabis information, continuing similar fights, and you know, just the general advocacy for cannabis. What do you guys say for everyone out there?
All I can say is this. It's an innocent plant. It ain't done no harm to nobody. In fact, the DEA said in both its 2017 and 2022 drug of abuse, there have been no deaths due to marijuana overdose. There ain't been no deaths due to marijuana edibles either. Don't let the TV fool you with all these children going to the emergency room. You know what's missing from them commercials? That you know they want to add, but they can't. How many children died?
So, yeah, no. So Nathan, I actually hold on. I got a good story for you because I've always loved this, and I've actually never told you guys this story. So my parents they always got on my case for smoking when I was, you know, coming up 20 smoking weed and living at home. And right after I moved out, I remember I went out for dinner with my parents one night. And my mom said to me, leaned over to me and she whispered, because, you know, she's my mom, and she said, you know, I tried an edible the other night. And I was like, it's legal now. You don't have to whisper, but okay. How was it? She said, I had to go to the hospital. And I was like, okay, walk me through this. She said, well, I started getting very racy and very panicky. And I felt like I was, you know, having a panic attack, a rush. So your father, you know, my father's a physician, took me to the hospital, and you know, they gave me an IV and all that. I eventually came down. So I looked at her and I'm just like, so essentially what happened is that you, a person who never consumed cannabis, probably took something the slightest bit up and then went to the hospital that pay them to make you drink water through your arm.
Yeah.
And that's where the that little bit of information gets people, like where they think, you know, and those, let me tell you, that's a nurse and a doctor right there. That tells you all you need to know about what they feed them through about cannabis.
All you have to know about my edibles, when I did my can butter and stuff, I would put my trim leaves I used to use trim leaves more than buds. The leaves you trim off the buds,
Yep.
take those. I graduated to that magic butter container.
Mhm.
I put 2.5 to 3 ounces of them trim bud, or not trim leaves inside of it, right? And then I got this little trick from research too. I add a little bit of Everclear 190 proof. And what that does is it breaks down the cellulose walls inside the leaves so that it will release those trichomes more. And any other flavonoid that might be in the leaf material. It breaks the cellulose down. All right. But wait a minute, I got to tell you in the right order because I don't want y'all burning up nothing in your house. You first put your trim leaves that's in your magic butter container with the thermostat thing down in it. Put it in your oven for 240 degrees for about an hour. That's decarboxylated, real good, real good. Then you take and add, when you take it out, add some of that Everclear 190 proof to your leaf material. Let it just kind of sit in there for about 5 minutes and start breaking down. Then you pour it over in your crock pot where you got your clarified butter. Don't buy no clarified butter. That butter costs, woo, you got to take a house note out to buy clarified butter. What you do is buy you some of that unsalted butter. That's cheap. Get it by the pound. Take it home, melt it. Get a spoon, scoop off all that white milk protein that's going to be floating on the top. Just take your time, be patient, scoop it off. When you get it all off, you got clarified butter. That butter will withstand high heats. It will not smoke. It will not burn. Because the only thing that burns in the butter is the milk protein. You still got the butter fat left. All right. Now, you got that in your crock pot on low. You take those trim leaves and pour it in there. Let it simmer for about 6 hours. Strain it through a cheesecloth into your container. You're gonna keep your butter in. When it cools down some, squeeze that cheesecloth, get the last drops out of there. Let it cool off on the table a little bit first, and then put it in the refrigerator. I learned about letting it cool off from my Le Cordon Bleu chef friend. You let stuff cool off first, and then put it in the refrigerator. It will congeal like a big block of butter. It's green with all kind of yellow streaks like gold just streaking all through it.
Wow.
And then everywhere a menu call for you to add some butter, just add that amount of butter. And I tell you this, as far as your mom goes, if your mom would have been playing with my edibles, she wouldn't have went to the hospital on her feet. I tell people this. When they talk about how strong these cannibal edibles is, I tell them like this. I used to like to smoke mine. I like the flavors. I like the taste. I like the smoking habit. But every now and then, if I'm going to take an edible, I take just a little bit of the edible, smoke some of my green. I can tell when the edible hidden. It's like a sensation come over you, man. It's like, whoa, where is this coming from? And then I tell people this. And then I'll wake up. As soon as I feel this sensation, I would wake up. And I would think I'd only been asleep for about 5 to 10 minutes, but I've been asleep for hours. Now, it's that kind of reaction that scared newbies. And they got to rush their friends to the emergency room because they like, damn, you won't wake up. Oh, shit. What? Just let them sleep.
Just let them sleep it off.
It ain't going to kill them.
No.
And while they sleep, their bodies are being repaired.
Yep.
I gotta run, but that last
All
part,
right, then, Mr. Jim. I thank you for staying this
Oh,
long,
hey.
sir.
no, is that last part was really pertinent because, like, you know, this right here can be used
I like it.
can be used as like a substitute for butter and
What is
cookies.
that? What's that,
That's
Jim?
right.
What do you have?
It's
Let me
well,
see.
this is instead
Okay.
of butter, it's the coconut oil base instead of that. I don't make it. My brother's got a magical butter machine, but this very what goes into cookies, or you could put into cooking. You can like
Yep, just eat it.
take a
Oh
look.
yeah, that's how she likes. She
No,
like
but
to eat it raw.
now it's all done. Go brush my cookie out of my. No, I don't think I'll do that. No, I have to get the oven cold. No, that's it.
Well,
So, like,
Nathan, I just want to say again,
It'd be nice.
I commend you.
Yeah,
I
thank
am
you.
cheering you for your success with this whole situation. And my metaphorical hat is off to you. You are truly a champion of the cannabis field.
Want to follow this?
Well, I hope the court got my transcript come March the 4th. I hope they got the transcript by March 4th. Go ahead, Mr. Jim.
This is
Georgia, come right.
This is what's following. So I'm going to be visiting your websites, and I don't imagine it'll be too hard to get in contact with. So
Yeah, we're gonna follow your story. We're gonna follow up with you
this
again.
is
Yeah, you can also find me on Facebook. Facebook / Unc
there
Save
you go.
Us.
all right.
There we
This is fascinating, Nate. Yeah, really.
All right.
All right.
Well, Nathan,
I gotta
thank
run.
you again.
All right.
It was a treat, honestly.
We have our list here. We have to go through. It's I want to thank Mad Hatter for having us here at the dispensary. They're opening up next week. CMMNJ, UFCW, Arlo Glass, OpenMachine.com, and SativaCross.org. And our list is we have a list here that we read after every show. And it's all the people that have passed on waiting for medical cannabis here in New Jersey or friends and family that we know. And the list starts with Jim's late wife, Cheryl Miller. Jim pushed her all over New Jersey. She got arrested consuming cannabis in Washington. She was a fighter.
I don't mean to really interrupt, but I guess I can in this case.
No.
What I've done lately, as I'm reintroducing myself to legislators and stuff, or other people, because I was way more involved, like through the 1990s and the early 2000s. But it's oh geez, I lost my train of thought. This was like so fascinating. No, that didn't hit that quick either.
The Washington, your wife.
Jim has a story, and it's incredible. And
Oh yeah, look, I credential myself by saying Google search using the keywords Jim Miller medical marijuana, New Jersey, and so I do that as opposed to explaining to somebody as I'm introducing myself to them, rather than me. It's not an official way of doing it, but it does work because I kind of have an idea. What'll come up will be leaving somebody with an impression of after going this way and that a little bit. Like Jim's been around a long time. He's serious. He's not going to let go.
Is Jim Miller medical? What now?
Medical marijuana, because I did my best work before it was called cannabis.
Okay. Is it .com?
No, just like a search engine. Go.
Just a search.
Yeah, a Google search. Okay. Google search using those keywords.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and just do what you do. It's reading.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be interested in being in touch with you later at some point. See what you think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, it's been a great meeting, you, Nathan.
This has been awesome, honestly.
But,
all right, so
I'm sorry to talk,
but the list though is like, because it's sort of like when they read off the list of the victims in the world
9/11.
in the world in 9/11. It's somehow saying their name, audibilizing a name it keeps it a little more real, and it kind of makes us feel like shit. But that's what motivates us, and that's what motivates other people. It's a serious fucking thing going on that's life and death for people, and effect goes beyond patients, and it goes beyond families and everything. So anyway, if nothing else, it keeps us going a little bit, because I don't want to leave feeling happy. I want to feel like there's a reason to fix shit, you know. And so Lefty does that, and I felt
we do our best work when we happy. Don't be sad.
yeah.
Don't be sad.
So anyway, even though you won't recognize who these names are, it doesn't matter. It's being said out loud. It's not like they never existed once they're gone. You know,
I
somehow.
don't memorialize either. I like. I'm a better activist as an angry activist rather than a sad activist.
Yeah, we all know that.
Well, the two are not mutually exclusive.
I know. I'm sad sometimes.
You can be sad when I'm angry.
This,
All right,
Cheryl Miller is on this list, and she's the ground zero in New Jersey for medical cannabis. She's inspired me to learn about it because when I met Cheryl, I was just I didn't know about medical cannabis. I just thought pot gave you the munchies, and that was it. And when I saw Cheryl have multiple sclerosis, and Jim would exercise her when he would give her cannabis. At first she was rigid; she couldn't move her arms, like they were stiff. They were stiff like this; they couldn't move. And he would give her the cannabis, and all of a sudden he could exercise her, and she could move her arms, and she was able to, be therapy and stuff. It was amazing, and I never seen nothing like it. And it got me interested in learning about the endocannabinoid system and what's in our bodies. And I didn't know, and I was ignorant, and now I know. And so, yeah, thank you, Cheryl, for starting this whole process here in New Jersey, because we wouldn't be as far without her. And then there's Sabina Rose. She's a 15-month-old baby who died from a 25-hour seizure. Terrible story. Diane, Gracie, Cindy May, these are all kids. Marie from cancer. Jack, Joan Ford, Randy Robertson, Polly, Bill Buckman, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger Barber, who was a lawyer who fought for medical cannabis for his child here in New Jersey. Jay Oleto, Ella Bagelman, Hattie. Hattie was my grandma, and I used to bring a vape bag to her. And she didn't know. I was giving her a breathing test. I'm like, here, Grandma, take a breathing test. And eventually she was like asking for the breathing test after a while. She got used to it, and she liked it so much. So she knew. She knew. She wasn't suffering needlessly. Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Marine vet Sean McKay from suicide. Is it 20 vets a day now, right? Is it 20 vets or 21 vets a day die from suicide?
Yeah, about that.
Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne Peters, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lou, Becky, Lawanda, Chip, Paul, Lisa, Marcus, Gary, and Jeff Oakes, who used to go to the council meetings. He had stage 4 cancer, and he would go to council meetings fighting for medical cannabis because they would ban it in certain towns in New Jersey. After it was legalized, some towns would ban medical cannabis. They would sell fentanyl, alcohol, tobacco in those towns, but they banned medical cannabis for sick and dying people. And Jeff would go out there and fight for the rights of patients. And there was times where he had a chemo bag on his hip where he would go out there and fight. And he would be sick, and he would out there fighting.
Well, the proudest moment that I think for him, from my point of view, was when he managed to get with you into the town hall meeting with the governor. And Nate, this was where the setup was: you write your questions down. His chief of staff or whoever it was would find one that would go well at the town hall meeting, and she really took Jeff. Yeah, it wasn't like, how can we keep this away from him? It was like, helped him make sure it was written good. Nice question for the governor. And she also made sure he got it last. And it was stunning to see the question the governor then had to read. He hadn't read it yet. So it's like she helped Jeff. Anyway, and what happened? It was the governor is in the position of going. The question is, because we just had a right to die law passed in New Jersey, where terminal illness, the state will help you die. So he said, "How is it I live in a state that will help me die, but not help me to live with what helps me?" Or I mean, he drew the dichotomy of these two laws, and a stuttering governor was kind of left with, I don't want to answer this. And he never really, there is no obviously answer. It was a serious rhetorical question that would have different perspective from whoever received it, but it was the most brilliant. And yet Lefty and I really are waiting. There is going to be a right moment coming up where we think he still deserves an answer. 3 years after his death? Now it's been 3 years, I think, 3 or 4.
Yeah, you said that last week.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Listen. And then there's of course one more thing that sums up what the people Lefty just read. After World War I, there was like an ode to remembrance written memorializing basically Great Britain, United States, Australia, and France. Kind of used this as celebrate memoriams after that. The early, and we thought it really applied to a lot of medical cannabis patients who were, in effect, activists willing to get out there when people weren't willing to speak up, especially back when everybody felt like they had a target. Well, I don't want to, use my real name. So anyway, yeah, and then we found out it actually is inscribed, written in stone, over the entrance to, in Trenton, what's called the War Memorial Auditorium, which is where big events go on and stuff like that. And over one of the doors into it is the fourth stanza of this, and sometimes Lefty adds another one before it. But we read that off, and that's what it is. It's sort of like
we'll do them both today. It goes
it ties it all together, and it's a really good way to end podcasts. So get on with it, man.
They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years end. At the going down of the sun, in the morning, we will remember them. That's it, man. Thanks.
Good night,
everyone.
Well, thank you, folks. They already at my door telling me it's dinner time.
Been a pleasure, Nate.
What are you having? What are you having for dinner?
I don't know, but it's Le Cordon Bleu chef working on it. It's a
There you go. Something good. There you go. Nathan, you have a good day. Stay healthy.
Yeah.
We hope to hear from you soon.
Good night,
everyone.
man.
All right.
Have a good
You
night.
too. Everybody, bless
check out the YouTube. New content coming up. We'll
God
talk
bless
again
you.
later. Take it easy.
All right.
Guys.
I'm gone, y'all.